All right, but I see my guest is here, so let me introduce my guest. Right now, we have Sports Journeys, Washington Commanders reporter Lake Lewis Jr. online. What's going on, Lake?
What's going on, my man? What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? This has been a busy day. So, I had this whole thing planned out for the actual benching, but we can go into it Sunday at MetLife Stadium. The Washington Commanders fell to the New York Jets 30-28. Quarterback Sam Howell was benched after after being down 27-7. Jacoby Brissett led a comeback with Washington taking the lead 28-27 in the fourth quarter. However, Washington's defense couldn't hold up. So this all led to today, Coach Rivera naming Jacoby Brissett as the starter moving forward for the next game against the San Francisco 49ers. First off, your thoughts on Sam Howell's benching?
I mean, he's been struggling over the past several weeks. And, we heard the grumblings that it was something that could be coming. And I knew it was coming after Sunday's loss. Yeah. It was quite apparent. And then obviously Ron pushed up his press conference. So you knew it was coming. It's not a surprise. I guess I'm a little surprised just from the standpoint that you've gone this far with him. And
that was my thought process.
You've gone this far with him, and if he's fragile and you're trying to protect him against two good defenses in the 49ers and Cowboys by not playing him, then he's not my quarterback. Then
there you go. I was thinking the same thing.
Because I thinking the same thing. The CJ Straub's team struggling without him. He's a rookie. So at the end of the day, if you're trying to protect the guy because he's mentally fragile right now and struggling, then that's not a good look for anybody for them. And I also think what can happen here is for everybody in the Eric Bieniemy camp, this gives him a chance to kind of audition for this thing with a quarterback that can maybe make the throws that he's looking for. And, and it also gives Jacoby Brissett a chance too to audition because let's face it, I think right now, Wole, there's a chance that this team could take a quarterback. If Caleb Williams is sitting there at 3, you have to take him.
Of course, you got to. You got to.
Weird or not, you got to take him.
You got to. you got to.
And I think if that's the case, who's better equipped to help this young guy? It would be Jacoby Brissett, and you wouldn't have to force Caleb Williams in there either. You could have him learn under Jacoby Brissett, but that's only if things look okay over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. So for you, what was your big issue with Sam? I mean, obviously, did you think there was a rookie wall? Do you think that, the hits played a part, or it was just, maybe seeing the level of defense he saw in that stretch of games?
Well, I think he's been asked to do a little too much.
Okay.
They're asking him to be Superman, and that's not his game. He had stretches, in the early part of the season, especially during the middle of the campaign, where he was making all the throws. He looked confident. He looked comfortable. But and you can't put all of it on the offensive line. Yes, the offensive line's been poor all year long. Sam Cosmi's had a great year.
Oh, yeah, he's been really good.
He's had a Pro Bowl caliber year. But outside of that, it's been up and down. I think Tyler Larson has played well too since he's been moved in at center. But they're devoid of a lot of pieces up front, and when you have a quarterback that's constantly getting sacked. You and I talked about this earlier in the year. He was going to be gunshot by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that's how he looks right now. And it's apparent that he's mentally struggling right now. He's lost his confidence. But I think the only way you get out of that is you got to play.
Yeah, that's it. I guess my thing, I mean, I get it. I understand you because you're not just playing, for one person. You're playing for a team. So I understand, you have 2 games in a row where Jacoby was moving the football. But to your point, it's what are you playing for, right? Like, you got a young dude, so these last 2 games of the season, just let him play those 2 games out, because at the end of the day, you still want to see what he's about. Like, you're going against the Dallas Cowboys, you're going against the Niners. We're going against the Niners this week on the last game of the season. You're going against the Cowboys, and then maybe playing for something. So, you at least now you get to test that young dude and see if he's really ready for it or not. You know what I mean? If he can bounce back.
Well, see, I think what it is, honestly, is I think they feel like they've seen enough.
Got you.
They haven't seen, enough from Jacoby Brissett.
Interesting.
And now you're giving him a chance to prove what he can do in Eric Bieniemy's system against 2 really good defenses. And like I said, if Washington were to, you know, I don't want to use the word win, but if they were to play well, you know.
Why do you want to use the word? Why you don't want
I mean, man, listen, man. You know, at the end of the day, we've seen some bad teams here, and when you get a chance to get one of them top picks, you want to see it. You know,
I
I
got
think
you.
you know, no one goes out to play to lose, but damn, I mean, you've gone this far, and
you might as
now
well go all the way,
you
right? You
trying to
might as
still
well go all the
win.
way.
You know, come on, man.
You might as well go all in. You don't put your pinky in it. Put your whole freaking foot in it, right?
That's what I mean. They could have been doing this a long time ago. Seriously. So I don't know if this directive was given out from up top, but it sure reeks of that.
Doesn't it?
It does. It sure reeks of, look, we need to see what we have. We're not going to fire Ron. I think they gave them their word. They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But with that said, we still have to evaluate some people that we may be thinking about having here next year. And obviously Ron's not one of them. I don't see that. But I do think Jacoby Brissett and Eric Bieniemy could be, you know, possibly two guys that could be retained.
Yeah, Master, that's a good point. What did I eat? Cook said great point about EB's offense, possibly shining with EB. Also said not win, compete. Yeah, compete.
Right. Exactly.
That's good. That's a good point. Yeah.
Look good, but I mean, people were like, but you know what, like last week, well, everyone was saying, oh man, you know, they competed. I had tweeted out in the second quarter, they looked like they were ready to go home. They looked like they didn't even get off.
Right. Are you talking? Yeah, I agree. I thought they quit that first half. I'm sorry.
They quit.
I'm sorry.
They quit. So then, you know, make a little comeback when Jacoby comes in. I don't think anybody saw that coming. But before people start, you know, honking the horns and saying that they competed and they played hard, you do realize the Jets are a train wreck as well, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like their defense is good. I think their defense is legit. Like I totally believe their defense is legit. But to your point, it's like, come on now, like that offensive side of the ball is like horrible. Bad. It's bad. They
hung 30 on them. So
So I mean, let you know about what's going on here, right?
It does. Also,
so I guess like for me, we're talking about like, you know, draft status, right? And we're talking and like I feel like we can only go from the body of work we've seen over these last stretch of games, right? And Brissett looks like he gives them a better chance to win games now. So I'm like, do you really want to put that out there? If you really want to get, say, a Caleb May or old boy from Penn State or Marvin Harrison Jr., you got guys right there that at the 3 spot. Yeah, I know, but
they're guaranteed to get at least one.
That's what I'm saying. I agree.
I mean, let's be honest here, man. Let's just come on, man. Yes, you my brother. Let's call it like this. They're not winning Sunday.
They're not. Exactly. Doesn't matter. I agree.
They're not winning Sunday. You want to say, okay, maybe they might get the Cowboys last game. Okay, maybe. But I personally feel like both these teams coming to town over the next 2 weeks are going to play their people because listen, that loss San Francisco had last week against the Ravens, they got beat down.
They mad.
That defense was manhandled. So they have something. They got to get their mojo back too. You know, the Eagles look a little shoddy, so the Cowboys still have something to play for.
Yeah.
You know, and let's face it, the Cowboys know if they have to do all the playoffs on the road, they're not going anywhere. So they're going to still play and hope and pray that the Eagles in front of them somehow stumble over their last two against the Cardinals and the Giants. Giants almost had them on Sunday. What makes you think that they can't get them up in New York in 2 weeks? So the Cardinals play tough. They almost had Chicago. So I just think that Washington's going to get two teams that are really going to compete and try to, do what they have to do to increase their standings in the playoffs. So with that said, I tweeted this out earlier. I don't think they wanted Sam Howell to go up against those two defenses in the fragile state.
I don't think so either.
Because I tweeted out myself. There could have been some bad things happening to him on Sunday.
I agree. I think it's a bad recipe. To what you're saying, to your point, you got dominated by the Ravens. You're looking for get back, and that's in this game. We'll get to it later though. But that game has so many factors to that can go left. It's so many additional factors. You have like what you're saying, like you want give back because you got embarrassed on prime time by the Baltimore Ravens. That's just one. Then secondly, you have 3 dudes who are always on give back when they play this organization. They will always be on give back when they play this organization. You got always. 2, and you got 1 dude. 1 is fresh, and 2 who's two definitely always on give back. So that chemistry, that little concoction mixed up could be a recipe for disaster. So I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, they've got their work cut out for them, and people are scared. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Fan base right now, you hear people like, "What are they doing? No, let Sam play," because they knew they had no shot with him playing at that point. So with Jacoby, I don't necessarily think it's about them trying to steal wins. I think it's that they're trying to evaluate him as a potential starter, an early 2024 starter, if they are going to draft a quarterback, or if they're going to bring Sam back. Maybe they're saying the kid needs a little bit more time. I don't see that being the case. You normally don't play a guy, for 14, 15 games and then all of a sudden decide he needs to sit the next year.
Yeah. So it goes to my next question then. So, I mean, thank you pretty much answered it. So do you did that game pretty much in-house chances of being the future quarterback for the Commanders? The Jets game.
It's just hard to say, man, because you don't know who they're going to bring in him, first of all, as a GM or a coach.
True.
These guys could be guys that evaluated Sam Howell when he was in North Carolina. And I mean, the first go-around of Sam Howell in North Carolina, when people thought he was a first-rounder, as opposed to the 5th rounder he was after his senior year. So maybe somebody comes in here and they really like him, and they feel like if they can put up a really good line in front of him and tweak the offense a little bit, get a little bit more run centric in there. I think that he's a player. I do. I think he's shown that he can play at a high level, but the mistakes and the turnovers and the sacks, things that kind of followed him from North Carolina, he still has a propensity to hold on to the football too long. That's what he did in college, and that kind of knocked his draft grade down. But it's just hard to say, man. I just know that 2 years ago, Caleb Williams, when he won the Heisman Trophy, everyone was like, "This guy's Patrick Mahomes too."
Bruh, yes.
Everyone, I know he's 6'1", and he's a little different. But listen, man, new ownership group, new GM, new coach coming in, and they're trying to put together a new franchise, and you need that face. And this kid's from DC, went to Gonzaga, like I said, Heisman Trophy winner with some cachet coming from LA.
Like PG County too. That's good.
Yeah. Listen, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Personally,
I don't want to go here.
Chocolate City is tough, and it's not Chocolate City anymore.
We already know what time it is.
Chocolate City.
We know what it is.
Yeah. World up. But with that said, guys don't do well who are from here when they come back here.
I agree, and I don't like. And this is art. So I had this discussion on X, and I was like, I don't want him to come here, and it's not even off of like him as a player. I just think that all right. I'm gonna be real. Like this is what my issue with Sam, but like how we judge Sam bothers me because he's a rookie. And if you told any rookie the year that he had, that is good enough to say, "Oh, you're my starter next year," for a rookie. To be real with you, rookies don't typically come in and blow like the season away. Stroud is an anomaly, just like RG3. His rookie year was an anomaly. Andrew Luck was an anomaly. That doesn't typically happen. And I'll even add this caveat into it. Typically, like you're asking forget round. You're asking a rookie to carry your whole franchise, meaning. He doesn't have he has the last place defense. He has a bad offensive line. You're asking a rookie to mask all of that. That is tough for any rookie, right? Period. So I said on X, dog, if they have a similar situation, hopefully the brass will bring in better talent for this rookie. But there's a similar situation when you have the last place defense, a piss poor offensive line, and he puts up Sam Howell numbers, which again to me would be good. This time would turn on him, and I don't need him. I don't want that for him.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say, it's not everyone, but there are some fans that are just there's nothing you can do that's gonna make them happy. except win a Super Bowl. And most of them have never seen that. Now, most of them have never even seen them in a playoff game. So, it's just it's difficult because it is a new ownership group. Be happy that there's no more Dan Snyder for one. Be happy that this guy is going to have a plan in play. Now you'll be able to see what Josh Harris and his group's going to do going forward. Clearly, they had a plan in play that they weren't going to fire Ron Rivera. So, again, I don't know if that was a league directive because I know Ron Rivera is respected by a lot of people. Part of the old guard, he is. And maybe people just said, let him ride this thing out because when we brought him in here, he did what he was supposed to do as far as the professionalism to the organization. But Ron Rivera has never been mistaken as a Hall of Fame head coach.
Not at all.
And those are the problems that have found him now. And it's time, obviously, for them to correct that and bring in someone new. But I just think that we have to see what these guys are going to do. We can't make any knee-jerk reactions or overdo it. And I think that's why a lot of us in the media haven't crucified the decision not to fire Ron. I've been saying he should have been fired. I flat out been saying it. I don't mince words there. I mean,
I know you don't.
I thought he should have been gone a long time ago. I but they decided to keep him, and I clearly can understand why. But I just think you didn't give yourself a chance to assess some things that you needed to see for next year, for whoever's coming in. And now maybe they feel like these last 2 weeks of the season will be the assessments of the enemy, Jacoby Brissett, and to see who else wants to be there, who else is going to compete and not lay down and get ran over.
Yeah, because they're definitely not competing. On our poll, we talked about, is this it for Sam? Actually, I have my poll up there. That's the wrong poll. I'll find it later. I'll find it later. So you did say something interesting in terms. I'm going to go back to in terms of EB. So do you think that, because EB's perception is, he's a negative perception, which I don't like either. But there is a negative perception about his play calling, right? To a point, even sometimes he has to defend himself, saying like, I've called plays in Kansas City. Folks have acted like he hasn't called plays. He said it out there. I've called plays in Kansas City. Like, this is not my first year calling plays. But anyway, he called plays for a Super Bowl winner, and people still complain. Right. So will Brissett? Do you think Brissett's play could change that image, right? That negative image that people out there are saying like, oh, he can't call plays. His play design is not what it is or whatever. Do you think he can change that perception? Brissett can change that perception?
No. And I'm going to say it. The reason being is because the ones of us who know that the guy can call a game, nothing's going to change that. I mean, Kansas City's offense has struggled this year. And don't think for a hot second, Eric Bieniemy not being there, it doesn't matter. Of course it does. Continuity was broken. Understand, like you said, Eric Bieniemy is coaching a rookie quarterback pretty much with the worst offensive line in football. Okay,
I don't care. That's worse than me.
With bad coaching to go along with it across the board. One of the worst defenses in football, which means that, again, you can't establish the run when you're always down 10, 12, 14 points. It's hard to do that. And then on top of that, let's just call it like it is. Kansas City didn't run the football a lot. During these Super Bowl runs over the last, 4 or 5 years with Patrick Mahomes, it was Patrick Mahomes throwing for over 4,000 yards. They weren't lining up 1,000-yard running backs left and right. It wasn't like that. It was running back by committee. It wasn't until last year they stumbled upon the kid from Rutgers, the rookie. Now he's in the second year, Pacheco. And, he kind of came in and gave him more physical running, him and Clyde Hilaire. But before that, they weren't lining up guys. It wasn't back in the day with, Charles. It wasn't, what was it?
Charles? Jamal Charles?
Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles.
That was a long time ago. That's pre-Patrick, So, again, Eric wasn't expected to come in here and have Brian Robinson running the ball 30 times a game. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, we have actually a comment. Darian Payne said, "Bring in Ben Johnson, keep EB, and they can work together with the offense." Do you agree with that?
I
they're different. Like a little different. But go ahead.
Darian, that's a fair thing to say, but I don't think you do that. Listen, man, you don't want to start off the new regime by saying we want to hire this person to come in as our offensive coordinator or our head coach, and we want to retain this person and that person. Because that's the problem in the first place. That's why they're in the situations they are in the first place. If you're going to do it and you're going to do it right, you hire a GM first and you let him or her pick whoever they're going to have running their team, and let your coach bring his staff in. That's just how it goes.
What about he has a draft pick? One of my friends likes this dude too. Draft picks with our second rounder, a second round pick from the Bears.
You like that? Listen, I've been on Michael Penix since Indiana.
So all y'all like Michael Penix. This is crazy.
I'm a big, I'm a Big Ten guy, man.
I know. I am too. But go ahead.
So that guy broke our hearts a couple years ago up in State College with that dive. He wasn't in. He was down, but still, they gave it to him. But I've seen him for a while. Only problem with Michael Penix, and hopefully it's not a problem going forward for the young man, is that he's had a history of injuries. Multiple ACL tears. So. He seems like, going to Washington's, kind of rejuvenated him and got him back on track to be a nice draft pick. Right. Got a weird throwing motion that I think some teams may be a little leery about, but the guy can sling the ball and he's a competitor and he's big, so, but let's just say this because a lot of people are saying perhaps you can get a Bo Nix or a Penix in the second round. Listen, you quarterback, there's a reason why Sam Howell was a fifth rounder, and everybody's not Tom Brady. That's just not how it works, or Dak Prescott for that matter, a fourth round.
Kirk Cousins.
You have a chance to take a quarterback in the top 2 or 3 picks. That guy's supposed to come in and hit the ground running. Sure. And I think that they have a legitimate chance to say, hey, Caleb Williams, Drake May, Daniels, the kid Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner. They all have a chance to just say who's the better of the 3 because they're sitting right there. Me personally, I'm taking the left tackle from my school. That's just you got to build this line.
Over Daniels. I'll say that much. Over Daniels, yes. Of the other 2 quarterbacks, I'm fair to say that I would take the 2 quarterbacks. But if I'm not taking Daniels over the Penn State dude or Marvin, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. They don't grade. He ain't high. He ain't better than them 2. He ain't better than them 2.
Marvin Harrison might be. He might be the best player in the draft.
Period. He might be. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't know. I don't think he's officially declared yet.
Yeah, not yet, because the NIL type of thing. But I think he's going to. I think he's playing around.
He's coming out.
He's coming out. Hey, my man Brandon Scott said, could Tomlin and EB coexist?
Could Tomlin do what?
Mike Tomlin and EB coexist.
Of course they could, but that's never going to happen because Pittsburgh's not getting rid of Mike Tomlin. So everybody keeps saying Mike Tomlin, it's not happening. And he would have to leave Pittsburgh. They're not getting rid of him. And I just don't see that happening. He doesn't strike me as the type of coach that doesn't finish what he starts. And he's already got a Super Bowl, but you saw them have a big win against Cincinnati last week. And they just kind of had that bounce again defensively. So Pittsburgh could be a scary team, if they can sneak into the playoffs.
Definitely. All right. So real quick, let me ask this one, then we go to the San Francisco name. My man George said, what you guys think about if we draft Joe Milton later in the draft from Tennessee?
No. Joe Milton checks all the intent, all the features, and he's a big dude, big arm. But there were some times I saw him not make passes that most elite quarterbacks should make. He did do some good stuff at Tennessee. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, definitely.
But he's not Anthony Richardson. I don't see that. I know people are trying to make comparisons. Anthony Richardson is just a freak, man. And I think if he got the right coaching, he could do it. See, the problem is if you would take a guy like Joe Milton, now you're going to be waiting forever to get him caught up. It could be a full year or 2.
Yeah.
This franchise doesn't have that kind of time. They just don't. I know people are saying they're going to be in a full rebuild. There's no such thing anymore in the NFL. You can win overnight. if you get the right coaches and personnel guys and players.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree with that. So the San Fran game. So for you, like, I mean, there's so many elements in. You got Chase coming back. You got Trent Williams, Kyle Shanahan, a little salty how they did his dad. So this is a concoction for some damage, some true damage. To be honest with you. So San Fran has kind of been I'm not gonna lie, they've been real slight with Chase's his snaps. Do you think this is the game? Like they're like, you know what? Go ahead, big fella. Go all in. We're going to give you as many snaps you can to kind of make an impact. And do you think they'll make this like a homecoming game for Chase? You know what I mean? Like how certain teams, you're seeing this team, this opposition that may be weaker. That's one. Secondly, you have incentive because what happened while you were here in DC. Do you think will San Fran make this like the Chase game?
Oh no, trust me. Trent, that's my guy. So keep in mind this is Trent's first game too.
Yeah, is it back? Yeah, his first game back in you're right.
Trent's first game back too. And believe me, he and Chase have talked about it. And believe me, Kyle has talked about it too.
I know Kyle. I know all three of them.
Yeah, of course they do. It's personal. They're going to take this personal. And coming off of a bad loss, they're trying to get right. And but with Chase, there's probably a little bit more venom in him because he was just there this year. He's his guys he went to battle with and kind of was unceremoniously traded, So basically he was traded for some Slim Jims. And I think,
so true.
For him to be the number 2 pick in the draft, and that's what you got for him, and that's all you probably could get for him, that's bad.
Yeah.
So he's probably trying to come in here and get a sack or two and disrupt some things for Jacoby Brissett.
All right, so give me a prediction. What do you think the score is going to be? Not wins. We already know what's going to happen. That the win-loss thing, that doesn't matter. Give me a prediction of the score.
I've just gotten to the point now where, I just got to be strictly media here and not the kid from DC. Man.
I got you, bro.
Because for far too long, I'm like, these guys are going to compete. They're going to keep it close. They're not getting blown out, but they're going to lose.
Yeah.
They're going to get blown out. I truly believe that. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be negative and positive.
No, I know you're being real. I
just think that if the 49ers had beat Baltimore, then I could probably see a game where maybe they sleepwalk a little bit and the score is within 10 points at the end of the game. Nah, man, not this time. The only thing that can save San Fran is if it's snowing or raining and just slow it down. That's it. I mean, that's the only thing that can save the Commanders from San Fran. I'm thinking we're probably looking at a score. It's going to be like 27-10, maybe 31-10. San Fran.
Oh man, you nice. That's what's up. I thought I have him getting 40. That's what's up, man. I have him getting 40. Like
it could get there.
Because I don't think no one check a Debo, so no one tackling.
Listen,
Debo.
if they were to beat San Fran, it would be so Washington, man. It would be you beat a team you have no business beating, and now ruined your draft status. I mean, it would be so Washington. Yeah. Fortunately for fans out there, I'm pretty confident in telling y'all this. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that Washington stuff is going to happen for this week. Dude, you dirty. 42-13. I mean, I had it 40. I had 40, but you dirty.
I was trying to show a little love.
I know, dude, dirty is on the one.
Flat out disrespectful.
I know. I'm about to say, dang, dude,
DJ thinking they coming in here, with the handcuffs ready.
I know it's going. I know, man. I know it's going to be a 49ers home field advantage, but dang, you ain't had to go that hard. Hey, Blake, thanks for being on. Before I let you go, man, how can our listeners catch your content and catch you on social media?
I appreciate it, as always, my friend. Yeah, you can check me out on Twitter at Lake Lewis and on Instagram and Facebook at Lake Lewis Jr. You can obviously go to sportsjourney.com. Check out myself, DJ, who just popped up in the chat. He's doing some great stuff with us as well. So, yeah, you can go there and check us out. And then, every now and then you see me pop up on WJLA as an insider for them. So, Yeah, man. We're going to see what happens this weekend, but I'm just ready for this thing to be over so we can just get into next year and start doing some good stuff, man.
Yeah, that's what the whole season. I'm sick of this team. I've been sick of this team since midpoint. Since the Bears game, I've been sick of this team. I'm not going to lie. All right, Lake. Thanks. I appreciate you, man.
All right, my friend. Good seeing you, bro.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, my man. Definitely.
Absolutely. All right.